You know when you're scrolling through a feed and you just feel something? A specific mood, a certain energy that a creator has just nailed perfectly. Well, we throw that word vibe around all the time, right? But what if I told you that creating a vibe is becoming less of a happy accident and more of an exact science? All thanks to AI? Okay, let's get into it. So let's start with the big question. What actually gives something a vibe? I mean, think about your favorite playlist, or a movie director's signature style, or even just an Instagram feed you love. What's that magic ingredient that makes it all click? Well, when you boil it down, a vibe isn't just one single thing. It's this perfect little mix of emotion. You know, how it actually makes you feel, the aesthetic, how it looks and sounds, and then the context, where and how you're experiencing it. So it feels like a simple feeling is actually, a pretty complex and deliberate construction. And that right there brings us to the whole reason we're here, this idea of vibe coding. This is where we're seeing a huge shift. We are moving away from just accidentally stumbling on a good vibe and into an era of intentionally designing one, literally from the ground up, using some incredibly powerful new tools. So, what is vibe coding exactly? Well, it's the practice of designing these emotion-driven experiences with AI as your creative partner. It's all about taking that blend of aesthetics, logic, and context that we just talked about and systematically engineering a very specific feeling. And this isn't just about throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. It's a real process. First, you've got to define the aesthetic, the whole look and feel. Then, you inject the logic. What are the rules of this world? What's its personality, its tone of voice? And finally, you have to consider the context. Who is this for, and where are they going to experience it? Now, to pull all of this off, creators need tools. But we're not talking about just a single app here. We're talking about an entire toolkit, like a digital orchestra for creating and conducting emotion. And here's what that orchestra looks like. For visuals, you've got powerhouses like Midjourney that can create breathtaking, consistent art. For audio, tools like Suno and Udio can generate entire songs that perfectly match the mood. For video, something like Runway ML can bring all those static images to life. And holding it all together, the narrative glue, you have AI writers like ChatGPT or Claude, making sure the voice stays perfectly on brand across everything. So this is the really critical part. Vibe coding isn't just about making one cool image or a single funny post. It represents a fundamental shift. It's about building entire, consistent, immersive worlds instead of just firing off isolated posts. And this really lays out the change in thinking, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the old way, kind of disconnected, one-off posts that don't really build on each other. But over on the right, that's the vibe coder's goal, a totally cohesive world with a dynamic story that creates a genuinely immersive experience for anyone who steps into it. And believe me, this isn't just a cool theory. It's already happening out there. I mean, think about AI-powered branding that keeps a perfect look and feel across every single ad. That's how a brand stops being just a product and starts becoming a world you can explore. Or what about personalized media that can actually adapt its story to your mood? This is where vibe coding gets incredibly powerful. So, when you look at the big picture, all of this is pointing to a new future for creativity. It's a future that is, at its heart, collaborative. It's one where the line between the creator and the tool just starts to melt away. Your new creative partner is an AI. And I just love this way of putting it. This whole movement isn't about automation coming in and replacing human creativity. Not at all. It's about giving it a massive boost, giving the artist, the writer, the musician a powerful new collaborator to brainstorm and build with. So what does that actually look like? Well, in practice, it's a conversation. It's all about strategic prompt engineering, using your words to carefully guide the AI's style and mood. It's about treating the AI as a real creative partner you can bounce ideas off of. It's a true co-creation session, a back and forth between a person and a machine. Which leaves us with a pretty wild final thought. You know, for all of human history, the emotions we could create in our art were kind of limited by our tools. But now that we have the ability to precisely code any vibe we can possibly imagine, what happens next? What entirely new feelings, new aesthetics, and new worlds are we about to invent?